Welcome to the Unlocking with Ermi podcast. I'm Ermi, your host and guide into the world of spirit, intuition, and soulful insights. If you're here, you're likely looking to expand your spiritual journey, connect with loved ones on the other side, or just find some clarity and inspiration. Well, you're in the right place. In each episode, we'll explore powerful insights, dive into fascinating spiritual topics, and share real stories that open doors to new perspectives. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just feeling curious, I'm here to make these connections accessible, relatable, and meaningful to you. So grab a cozy spot, open your heart, and let's get started. Hey y'all, hey, welcome to another episode of the Unlocking with Ermi, and I am so glad you're here listening to this new episode. I have one of my big friends, one of my favorites. Peachkka is in the building. Miss Nikki is in the building, y'all. But as you guys may know her, a lot of you guys may know her as Peachkka. I'm going to go ahead and yield the mic and go ahead, Peach. Go ahead and introduce yourself to those that don't know who you
Yes.
are.
Hey, babes. Sorry, I'm literally not Chris from Chris and Teeb calling me right in the middle of this. I will call him after this. Hi, babes. I am Peachkka. I am the artist known as Peachkka. You may also know me as Nikki. Maybe by the time this comes out, or as this comes out later, you will see some other projects as Nikki out from me. I am a artist. I am a spiritual advisor. I am a mentor. I'm an improviser. I'm a rapper. I do all the things, and all the things with intention. And that is really it. Artist first and foremost, and advisor shortly after. But the artistry is really what takes precedent for me. I'm
Yes,
so
I
happy to
love
be
that.
here. Thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
thank you. I'm glad you are here. I love you. I love you. Y'all, I love Peachkka. I love Peachkka. When I first met Peachkka through my faves, Chris and Teeb, and I was like, yo, I didn't even know that this is who this is that's making this music the way she making it. And then she's making songs about me. This music is, yo, listen, y'all. When I tell you her music, she is amazing. Outside of the music, she is already just an amazing person. What was the persona? What was the story behind the name Peachkka?
Okay, this is my favorite story to tell.
Okay.
Just telling Chris that I will call him back in a second. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. If my producers are calling me, I usually answer, so I just want to let them know that I'm a little busy. So behind Peachkka, and this is my one of my favorite stories to tell, truly because it's so important to me. When I first started, it was even before I started making music. It was my social media handle for a while, the name Peachkka. And it is the phonetic spelling of the Croatian word for cunt, for the C word, if you want to bleep it out or whatever. Yes.
I
So
didn't know
yes.
that.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, so I am Croatian. My background is Croatian. My
Okay.
family is Croatian. And when I first sort of was creating this persona, it was before I started making music, but it it is the practice that I teach now of creating a persona to actualize yourself within.
Mhm.
And at the time, there were a lot of people who um, had a lot of opinions about me that weren't asking me these any questions or for clarification or clarity. I grew up in quite a small town with a lot of other Croatian people
Mhm.
and moved to London when I was 19. And a lot of people were kind of like, well, who does she think she is that she can go and do all this stuff? And I'm like, and it was a lot of not so nice things being said about me.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, this is what you think.
Mhm.
So I'll
They were
just
just going by how you looked.
about how I looked, but more so the idea of like who does she think she is? Like, does she think she's better than us? Kind
Mm.
of a thing that she can just up and leave. Because a lot of the people that I grew up with have lived there for years and years and years and never left.
Mhm.
And I hated it.
Mhm.
I hated it. I hated it. And I was like, I gotta get out.
Mhm.
And so I was in school in my freshman year of college, close to home, and I was like, I don't like this. I got to get out of here. And it was in between moving to New York or moving to London for school, and New York was still a little bit too close. So I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And yeah, so it kind of just popped off from there. And through the persona of Peachka, I grew so much confidence and so much self assuredness because through this persona I was able to say all the things and act the way that I wanted to, that I was kind of scared to be around these people who I just didn't feel safe around.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm at this place where I feel like I am now able to return back to Nikki
Mm-hmm.
and offer art and music and experiences as myself and not through this persona, So
So a lot of
because
things that you do now is it really going to shift into just Nikki? Or, because you know how, I don't want to use Beyonce as an example, but you know how Beyonce has her own, like Sasha Fierce is her other. So is this that for you with Peachka? Is this like Peachka on stage, or will we see more Nikki on stage?
it's interesting because I think now that I am doing like mentorship and spiritual advisory, a lot of the babes that work with me that way find me through Peachka and through my music and things like that. But when they sit down with me one on one, I'm not that person. I'm not that aggressive. I'm very, gentle and kind. And so I think it's less about the public face. Like Peachka won't change,
Mm-hmm.
but my business is going to change a little bit.
Right.
And the way that people see me is going to change. And I want to make that distinction maybe a little bit more clear. So if anything, Peachka might be a little bit bigger, she
Yes,
might
I
be a
can't
little
wait.
bit, yeah, I'm
Because
excited.
literally in my head, I hear, I am woman, hear me roar. You remember that term? I am
Yes,
woman, hear me. And I keep hearing it over and over. I'm like, no, Peach is about to get really, really big. I literally hear it
exactly.
in my head. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then when I see you and I had a session with you, when I had that one-on-one session with you, I just felt like, oh my God, everybody need to see this side of you for real. This side, and I don't want to say that this side you kept hidden. I don't want to say that because I'm not trying to read you or whatever. But I felt like it was more of let me keep Nikki a little bit safe, and let me
Mhm.
just show y'all Peachka. Let me show y'all motherfuckers who Peachka is, okay? But
Yes,
it's also that's Peachka is a part of you still. That's still you.
for
It's just
sure.
that one that's standing in front of you, the one that has been keeping you safe, has
Yeah,
been protecting you,
for sure.
and I feel like a lot of that is from the inner child or the child or the person that you're I don't want to say that. I want to say the Peachka is who your inner child wanted to come forth. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I love it. It's like, this is part of what I'm going to talk about in my book, because it's very that it is I created Peachka because I needed her, and
Mhm.
now I get to have fun with her rather than like be like, I need you. It's kind of
Right.
like, oh no, I'm here with you now.
Yep.
It's yeah, it's
We're in
beautiful.
this together. Yes, yes.
Exactly,
Hold my hand.
exactly.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm here. And I love that, Peachka. When you started your spiritual work, what was that like? How did you get into that? How did you start that? And how did um your family view that for you? Because I always family and friends always have an opinion about what you should be doing and what spiritual, oh, you want to do that. You're into witchy things because I know that you practice a lot of the witchy things, the woo-woo that a lot of people know. But could you explain or could you let us know how that started for you?
Sure, I really love that question. It's interesting because when I'm making really big transitions in the way that I show up with my clients and my mentees and things like that. And I've been reflecting on this recently.
Hmm.
So I love this question, and I did not expect to be here. I
Hmm.
did not expect to be doing this. I did not plan to be doing this. I yeah, this was not in my sights. This was not, this was given to me. I feel this just happened. Um, and it was really just following spirit. I'm trying to even think back to that moment of like making those decisions. Like at the time I was just starting to share that I was a tarot reader,
Mhm.
and giving, collective readings and posting. And especially at that time, I think it was like late 2020, maybe early 2021, whenever like that was like we were all in lockdown. That was the big sort of
Yep.
spiritual boom
Yep.
on TikTok, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, well, if these people are doing it, I might as well show what I got, because they're not doing it right.
Wow.
or they're not doing it like,
Yeah.
they're trying to just get these views. And for me it became a thing of like, well, this was a tool that I've been using for myself to
Mhm.
gain clarity. I never really used it as a thing to like predict the future or what was going to come next. It was always a tool for me of like, what am I not seeing right now? What
Mhm.
am I yeah, what am I needing to pay attention to? What or reminded of, or congratulated for, or any of those
Mhm.
things. It was just kind of, that was what I was using it for. And yeah, I was doing um, doing lives and those sorts of things, and people were asking me, like, I was just talking and they were kind of like, do you work one on one with people? And I was like, no, like that's not really what I do, da da da. And was like still focusing on like letting go of my ex partner at the time, and like it was just a lot of things going on. I was not trying to build a business or anything.
Mhm.
And then it just happened for me. I'm very much as a Pisces. I like to give people what they want, and especially as an artist, right? I like, if you're going to tell me that you want something from me and I like to do it as well, I'm like, girl, I'll do it all day long,
Right.
And it was kind of that. It was this thing of like, oh, they're asking for this. I'm not trying to force something on to people. And it was like, yeah, that just became so clear to me of like, oh, well, follow it, follow that,
Mhm.
follow that, follow that.
Mhm.
And now here we are 3 4 years later, and I'm about to start my first like full length course. Like that before it was just like little spurts, maybe like
Mhm.
a 3 week course at the most. And this is going to be like 6 to 9 months long. So I'm like, yeah,
Oh.
building. Yeah.
Oh, this is a heavy mentorship.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
chills. Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be real good, Peach.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be real good. And this is gonna be it's gonna be a lot of healing with this. And not just you healing the people, but you also doing a lot of stuff healing as well. I don't know why I keep hearing Leo moon, your Leo moon, because I'm like, the moon is the that illusion, the tapping in, and so you said I needed to do this for myself. I needed to do this for myself. And also it drove the Pisces, that Pisces energy to just, because the Pisces are already tapped in.
Yeah.
That already is like, oh, you're already tapped in. And then you have all these different aspects that's really pushing you to connect and push others. I love that. 6 to 9 months. I love that. Like, what is
And you saying that just reminded me the other part of your question of like how people
the
perceive
family?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have always been tapped in. I've always been kind of witchy, kind of woo woo. Um, I grew up Catholic, which, in my humble opinion, Catholicism is like the witchiest of the Christianities. They've got their altar, they've got all this stuff. It's
Listen,
very
yes.
witchy. They're talking to all the saints and everything. So
Yep.
it's not surprising to me that was where I came from, but that just never really resonated with me, and
Mhm.
in terms of the organized religion part of it and all of that stuff. um, and I think a large part of my life was me exploring different religions. So
Mhm.
my family wasn't really surprised, I don't think, that like I kind of landed on this like like blanket term spirituality. Like I don't think they were really surprised or like shocked. I think it's more, and I think they're also more of like a, Nikki's gonna do whatever she wants to do, and they also know that them saying things to me just fuels me more. Like they were the first people that I learned to transmute from. So it's kind of like I,
Wow.
amplify that power no matter what. So they just don't, they know better now, I think. Anything.
It was
And I
like, if
hope
I
they
say
do.
this is gonna really push her. If you
Yeah,
pushing her buttons, it's just gonna fuel the passion.
it always does. It always does, which is why I don't mind poking the bear sometimes, because I know that the fuel that comes from
Hmm.
it.
So do people call you, like, you label you as a witch?
Um,
Or do you
not to
label
my face.
yourself as a witch? Oh, okay.
I've never heard that to my. I mean, they could. I wouldn't be mad about it, but
Right.
I've never. I don't think I've ever heard that, which I would love. Other than this past year, at trick or treat, I was sitting out giving candy and not dressed up at all. And this little girl came up to me. She goes, "Are you a witch?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yes, I
Just
am."
knew it. She just
It was
saw it.
really cute.
Oh, she got to be a witch. Oh my God. I think kids, they already tapped in anyway, so they can already see. They can see your aura. They can see, and we, as we get older, we tend to, not we, but adults, we usually tend to say, "Oh no, that's crazy. You're nope, nope, nope. Don't talk about it." They try to shun it or try to make you suppress it because they are afraid. So
Yeah.
kids can literally see, literally see. And I know that you have a bachelor's and master's in performance design. What does that look like, or how does that work with what you're doing
Mm.
in this space? Like, how do you incorporate that?
I love that question because I think only now am I really sort of actualizing the fact that I am using it. I think for a long time, I maybe not a long time. There was a period of time where I was kind of like, why did I even do this? Why did I study this?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, my bachelor's degree is in acting and theater, and then my master's degree is in performance design. So I was ready to just fully be an actor. I was ready to do the whole acting thing, like stage plays. That was my jam. I mean, and I still love performing live in front of an audience. That's my favorite thing. I could be literally doing anything up on stage. That's just where I feel like I belong. Um, and so through that whole process, it was the middle of my master's degree that I really started taking the music sort of seriously. When I was kind of like, oh, I think I'm going to pursue this.
Mhm.
And it was my master's degree really that helped me curate the persona of Peachkka. And I think, again, only now am I arriving at a place where, like, I want the sort of external presentation of Peachkka to align with a lot of the backstory that I've done, like the behind the scenes sort of thing. So in the moment, I don't think I had the confidence to fully take it to what I wanted to take it to,
Right.
when I probably should have, because I had like costume designers and makeup artists and I had everyone around me in my master's program.
Yeah.
So but I was so inspired by all of these people,
Mhm.
and inspired by um, artists kind of being super, like, clear with their message and then figuring out other ways to deliver that
Mhm.
message. And for me, my message was always this thing of like, I want to tell the truth.
Right.
I want to tell the truth.
I
I,
love.
I don't care what it is that I'm telling the truth about, but I want to tell the truth and I want it to be clear
Mhm.
that you are hearing the truth.
Mhm.
And so I started off really doing comedy, and like whenever I was first writing lyrics, they would be kind of comedic songs. They would be kind of funny, and I would be talking shit, and like it was all a lot of like, you
Yeah.
know, let me see how crazy I can get, like Lil Dicky type vibes, right? And
Oh.
but then I was kind of like, I was like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to
Yeah.
be another white person making funny hip
Mhm.
hop music. I'm like, that doesn't,
Mhm.
whatever. That just felt wrong to me.
Mhm.
Um, it felt a little disrespectful, truthfully. And
Mhm.
so I was kind of like, but I know I'm good at this,
Mhm.
and so let me take it a little seriously now. And then I kind of lost the comedy, and now I'm bringing it back, and now
Okay.
it's like, it's there is a way to be funny without being uh, yeah, disrespectful. I don't have,
Yeah.
there's another word that I want to say,
Distasteful.
but I
Mhm.
don't have it. Without being like a novelty, right? Or a gimmick. And
Yeah.
that was the biggest. I didn't I
The
don't I'm
gimmick.
not a
Yeah.
gimmick, and I don't
Yeah.
want anyone to
Yeah.
I was always kind of self-conscious about that, and now
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, oh, I know, I'm way past that.
Yeah, no,
No
girl.
gimmicks.
Hell no. None at all. You truly show who you are. There's no gimmicks about how you flow or how you connect or how you draw people in. You draw so many people in. You have no idea, Peach. A lot of people, they again, nobody knows Peachka, but they know Peachka. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They know you by your words, they know you by your music, and they know. I think this is really like the beginning of Peachka, 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 like for real, like big boss Peachka. That was a lyric of her song, y'all. By the way, that's a lyric of the song. I love that song, but but it's the thing about her, you guys, and I love Peach about you is the way you put the words together. It sounds like poetry. Do you
Thank
do
you.
poetry as well?
That was how I started. So that was what I was doing before I was rapping. Like that was why my friends were kind of like, "You, Nikki, you should just try this. Nikki, like get on this track." And I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "Whatever. I don't really know."
Yeah, it's it's how you rap. It's how you put those words together. It's like, oh my God, I would have never thought to put, and then it is the storytelling behind your music. It's like you really telling a story. If people don't catch it, they're not gonna pick up the story. But there's a story in what you're saying, and it's all still high vibrational, motivational for you guys. If y'all don't know, she's really motivational. She will really empower the women, not just the women, the men too, but that women high vibe for the women. Listen, oh, and I
No,
want to know, like,
empowerment was always my intention. Sorry, not to cut you off, but
oh, go
empowerment was
ahead.
my intention even before I was making high vibe music,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Even
what I
if you go
wanted.
listen to my old music, it's
Yeah,
still empowering. Like
right,
that was always my intention, but I think at the time, like I was still working through things. I
right.
would like I call that old music my shadow music now because I was actively moving through my shadow.
Yep,
But
yep.
like I was using that to pull myself up.
Yes.
So I still feel empowered by that
Yep.
music. Even though sometimes some of the words are a little cringy to me now. I wouldn't say them now, but they were true at the time.
You will be your authentic self. You will be so as people listen to it, it'll be true for them.
Yeah.
Even though you have already gone beyond that, you've already healed from it. It really reaches to people that really need it. So your past self or the music from the past, or you feel like, all right, I'm done with it. It's somebody's new thing that just fell in their lap that is going to help them get through it. So just know that it's working, friend. It is working. It's
Thank you.
working. It's working. It's working. None of it was for naught.
Yeah.
All of it, your creative process, the entire thing was for naught. It was for naught. So I'm glad that it's starting to make sense a little bit for you, a little bit more sense to where you have to make that shift. So that's exciting, friend. I'm excited
Thank
about
you for
that.
that. Thank you for that affirmation. I'm grateful.
No, I had to remind you, friend. I had to remind you. So when you go into because I'm shifting a little bit when I'm going back to the woo-woo things.
Yeah,
And
love
I
it.
know you do a lot of full moon rituals and ceremonies and a lot of gatherings. What does that look like for somebody that doesn't know that you even do that? They just know you as an artist and now you have to shift or they learn it. Oh, wait, she does more. Okay, what does that look like? How do you do that? Or how do you bring people together in that way?
Oh, I really love that. Yeah, full moon circles and full moon gatherings, they have been my like slowly been becoming my favorite thing that I offer for the community. And I as I've been on this journey, I don't really celebrate the holidays the way that other people do. I don't really like I'm not like I am fully a I would say I'm a pagan, right? Like I celebrate the transitions of the moon. I celebrate the changing of the signs. I celebrate the equinoxes and the solstices. So to me, it is so important to honor these natural cycles that occur and to do that with other women or divine feminine beings. It's not just women, but people who feel aligned with the feminine energy. And I think it's so necessary for us to take a moment to honor ourselves, our fullness, in the
Mhm,
same way that the moon is full.
mhm.
So currently, those gatherings are virtual, as I am conjuring a space, conjuring a space to have consistent full moon circles. But I know a lot of my babes are all over the place. So I want it to be accessible. So yeah, they're currently virtual, and I lead a guided meditation and visualization exercise to allow you to connect with your higher self. You meet your higher self in this meditation. So even if it's your first time joining the circle, it's profound. If it's your 11th time joining the circle, it's profound, and it changes for people, and it changes for me. I don't the meditation isn't the same every time. I'm actively channeling while I'm doing this. And then, we share and we talk about our experiences and what came up for us in those moments. It's often very emotional, and it's often very intense, but it's a safe space and a non-judgmental space and an open space. And then I will come up with affirmations based on what everyone shared, and then we'll say the affirmations together. And we can carry those affirmations through the next lunar cycle. Yeah. So that's what it.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Because again, people are looking for spaces, are looking for people that they can trust to be able to work things out, work some of the stuff out. And you creating a space for people and create community is big. It's big. So not only, again, I always bring back to your music, but not only are you empowering, but you also are affirming people and helping them understand, y'all, you don't have to do this by yourself. I am a voice for you. I am a shoulder that you can lean on. I am somebody that you could come in and be able to connect with spirit or your higher self, like you said, and be able to walk this out. You can get through this. This is just a moment. And this is a part of your life. This is you walking in your purpose. Just know that you're on your spiritual journey. And I'm excited that you chose me to help you get through that. And a lot of people will continue to do that, Peach. A lot of people will continue to do that. And one thing I don't feel from you is like big ego. I don't feel that from you. I don't feel like you're like
room. We don't have room for that in this work. There is no room.
We don't.
Now I'm about to get annoyed. There is no room. There isn't. There is not.
Exactly. Exactly.
The ego for me, I'm allowed to have the ego in the music. I'm allowed to care so much about the way that I am presenting my music. But in this work, there is absolutely no room for it. It takes up way too much time and energy to be that. And I think it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. I'm very big on morals and ethics, and like that takes precedent for me above anything else. And this will get me worked up, but I know it's important to say here. I feel like morals and ethics for anyone who may be considering starting a business, if they're a practitioner or they do have a business or whatever, get very clear on what your morals and your ethics are. On your policies, on your boundaries even. And when I say morals and ethics, I mean like, what are your values? Why do you do this work, and what are your limits in doing this work? And I think for me, like my biggest value is like, we cannot have judgment here. Like, we have all been at different places on this journey, in dark spaces and low vibrational spaces, and whatever words you want to call it. Like that is the way that life works. If you know anything about tarot, the devil card's in there for a reason. That's temptation. It's part of it. Part of it. and to have any sort of like, I don't know, feel like you're better than anyone, or I don't know. You cannot lead with that.
Right.
You cannot.
Right.
Or you're going to lead people somewhere where none of you want to be. And that's.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up tarot as well. And not even just tarot. I want to know, like, what does a day in the life of Peachkka look like? What is it that you do to set your day? What do you do to bring your vibrations up? If you had like a horrible day the day before, what do you do to prepare your day to stay in a high vibrational? I mean, sometimes we get into a low vibrational state, but then that's where you get the shame and the guilt and embarrassment, and then you don't want to do anything, and then you go in a slump, and then you ineffective. But what does that look like for you? What does the day in the life of Peachkka look like as she gets ready to do her thing, and before even she connects with people or music or whatever? How do you get yourself up in a in a space to get that going? Like, what does that look like?
I love that question. Um, you know, I know that there is this rhetoric around like having this extensive morning routine and all of this stuff. I don't. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't. And that is not because I don't think it's important or whatever. That's mostly because I am also an artist. And I operate through, I listen to spirit, I listen to source, my intuition with everything. To the point where almost nothing is consistent. In that I have things that I do often and I do all the time, but it's not like every morning at this time I'm waking up and I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, because that's just not how that's not how it works for me.
Are we related? You my long lost sister.
I just think that that's a little silly. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you, but it does not work for me.
I'm the same way. I get up when I'm ready to get up. I'm not gonna I don't pull cards for myself in the morning. I know people pull cards. I don't, because I feel like spirit's gonna eat me up. So I'd rather not. I know I hear you already, spirit. I see you already. Do I gotta pull cards too and get a whipping with the card? Like, so I do just go with the flow. So I'm like, Peach, you my sister? Because
yes. But the only thing that I have been making it a point to do recently, especially, even though it's cold and it's getting cold, is get my ass outside within the first like hour and a half that I'm awake. And just get that that fresh air. I live near the river, so like I like to go down and we spoke about that. And like I like to go down and like just walk near the river and talk to her and just kind of have that be the way that I set my day, and also just move my body, because I do a lot of sitting. I sit here and I work and all that stuff. So I like to just kind of have that be the sort of reset, that sort of like our jump start of the day. But truthfully, it really depends on if I have clients. It depends on if I have calls like this, or if my intention is to make music. A day when I'm making music, that usually looks a little different, because I'm fully in creation mode. And that is like, I'll usually prepare that the night before. I'm kind of like, okay, we're getting into this tomorrow, Peach, and I'll have my coffee ready, I'll have my weed ready, I'll have everything ready that I need, and like, and when I'm in those spaces, that's when I have to like intentionally pull myself back of like, okay, Peach, we're in a body. We have to come back and we have to take care of ourselves. We got to go pee. We have to eat some food. We have to do all those things. And because when I'm in those spaces, I will go somewhere else.
Yeah, like a flow state, like a light hypnosis.
Absolutely. Wow. So I know that doesn't really answer your question.
No, it does.
That's the honest answer.
It does. Because some people didn't think or won't even realize that, okay, maybe that is an option I can do. Maybe I can incorporate going outside within the first hour of my day to be able to just connect with spirit, connect with the moon and the sun, and like however they connect, but they can just go outside and connect with nature, connect with spirit in that way.
Absolutely. And like that is part of my like intention, is like my personal intention is I want source to guide me. That is not everyone's personal intention, and that's okay, and it doesn't have to be, right? Like if your intention is I want to be cheerful, I want to be able to get through the day to support my kids, I want to, like, whatever the intention is, that's the intention. And I feel like when we get clear on what the intention is and build routine or action based on intention, it makes everything else so much easier. So it's less about the action and more about the intention, and let it inform that way, rather than, oh, if I do this, and this, I'm going to be great all day long. It's like, no, it's the other way around. Right. This is what I want all day long. What do I need to do?
How do I set that up? How do I get that? And yes, Peach. Yes. Intention for sure. 100%. I always teach my students and teach the people that I connect with as well. Just what's the intent behind this? What is your intention?
Why are we doing this?
What is the reason?
Why are we doing this? Who told you to do this? I get that all the time of like, well, I wake up at this time and I meditate for half an hour and I'm like, why? Not saying that you don't have to, right? Not saying that it's bad, but just
If it
why?
works for you. If
Right.
it works for you. I know you've spoken on creating your own reality.
Mhm.
What does that look like? What is creating your own reality, and what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's a big question.
Oh, that's a big one. Okay,
I love
perfect.
it though. I mean, it in terms of explaining, but
Right.
we've been on a call for however long. You know, I like to talk. I feel like the creation of your own reality is the art of detachment from societal perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being very intentional with my words here. Is detachment from societal perceptions. It does not mean that we are not still a part of the collective reality, because we absolutely are. And this is where I think I'm entering with a lot of my teaching, is a lot of this spiritual work. The creating the reality is very individual, and it's very, what does my reality look like?
Mm-hmm.
And while that is super important and necessary, we also need to shift into this energy of what does our reality look like, and shifting the collective consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like, all I say all that to say that creating the reality is getting super clear on who you are, um, how you show up, why you show up,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, that's my husband's talking.
allowing yourself to become the version of you that already exists within the reality that you want. So you're not actually doing anything to the outside. You're doing it all internally.
Mm-hmm.
And again, our society is very individual based. We live in a very individualistic society. That is how capitalism thrives, is through
Mm-hmm.
individualism, rugged individualism. And I think it's now more than ever, let me say, it's super important that we also begin to think about the collective within the creation of our reality. How do I show up in my neighborhood? How do I show up in my family, in these collective spaces? And how can I want to say show out, right? It's how can I express, right? How can I pour out? Yeah. How can I pour that energy out so that way I can share it and be that person and allow other people to shift as well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that answer?
I understand it. No, I understand your answer. You may have thought that you probably didn't sound like you were making it. Yeah, it does make sense. What you're saying is making sense. I know we're getting close to the end, but I do want to ask you, if you were to meet or go back to talk to your 18-year-old self,
Woo!
what would you tell her? What would she believe that you came back from the future to talk to her, first of all?
No,
And second of all, what would you tell her?
no,
You're
she
like, no,
would
she
not
wouldn't
believe
even.
it. She would not believe it. At that time, when I was 18, I was very depressed,
Mhm,
honestly, like severely. Um, would just stay in my room and wouldn't really talk to anyone. Whenever I would be around other people, I'd be faking it,
mhm,
and so all of the things that I do now are really for that version of
mhm,
me. And I I would tell her that you've got it. You're gonna figure this all out. I would tell her to shoot for the stars. There's nothing that she has to hold herself back from. She doesn't need to look a certain way in order to be the person that she already is.
mhm.
Ooh, I'm getting emotional. She's she's going to do it all. She's gonna do it all. Oh,
I love that.
oh,
Mm,
she was so scared, my little 18-year-old self. She was so
mhm,
scared.
mhm,
And now we're doing it. And
mhm.
now we're doing it. And
Yep,
like that's
yep,
she would be proud.
yeah,
She would
yep.
be proud.
She would be proud for sure. Now, if your future self, 30 years from now,
Woo.
to come to see you, present Peach, present Nikki,
Mhm.
what would you ask your future self? What would you want to know?
I would want to know that we followed through on the promise to change the world.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I love
By
that
that
answer.
time, as an elder, I should be respected. I should be in these big rooms by then. You know, that's what I would ask. I'm like, we did it, right? I'm like, we're doing it, right?
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
answer. I really, really love that answer. I'm like, I don't want to know what I just want to know, am I happy? Did we do what we said we were going to do? Are we doing that?
Are we doing it? Yeah.
I love that, Peach. I love that, Peach. What is the most surprising thing that you've learned about yourself in this spiritual journey?
Oh. Um. I think I still get quite shocked when people tell me that my voice draws them in.
Hmm.
I never thought that was like music was never the thing that I thought I was going to do. That I think has been the biggest surprise for me is that not only do I like doing music, but like other people like that I like doing music. Like that's still a shock to me. But like, on a deeper level, there is this like, siren energy within my voice of like there is this alluring
Oh,
sense but it's
yes.
it's
Oh, yes.
alluring people to their empowerment, not their, demise, which is like that to me is always that still to this day is kind of like really like really y'all like this voice, so I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Do imposter syndrome get a hold of you sometimes?
Sometimes not as much as it used to. I mean, I think theater school really uh,
Mm.
was a great opportunity for me to like get rid of all of that, and then yeah, after that, like doing a lot of the fuck you energy that I felt towards my theater teachers, but yeah, no, I sometimes, but not like within big things. Sometimes it'll just be like a sense of like, um, no, I'm gonna say no, actually. No.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to think of moments and I don't really have any. It's less imposter syndrome and more just like impatience.
Mhm.
Kind of like, God, I still have to wait. Like, come on. Like what like yeah, just
Yeah.
ready for the right person to see me.
Hmm. I wanted to know, because I have a million and one questions, and I'm so glad I got you. I'm like, oh, I want to know this, and I want to know
We
that,
could
and
do another episode if you want.
oh, that's
We do
cool.
part two.
For the people that's watching or listening to this episode, what advice would you give them about anything?
Say exactly what you mean and say it clearly and without any fear. Because even if it surprises you, your voice is very, very important. Period. Period.
Mm,
Just say what you mean. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
mm, mm. About to have me crying. Whew, think you're talking to me, spirit. You talking to speak to
I feel
me.
it. I
Felt
feel it.
that in my shonda. Oof, felt that one. I felt that one. Do you have any projects that you're working on currently?
Yeah, I'm currently, I don't know when this is going to come out, but I'm currently in the middle of planning the winter solstice for this year. For the babes that don't know, this is the third year that we have had our winter solstice celebration. This is something that I conjured up, yeah, 3 years ago to give ourselves a platform, give ourselves a space to celebrate and offer our music to our audience because these club promoters don't see what we're doing yet, and I don't want them to. I want to do it ourselves,
Right.
honestly, so we can do it the way that we want to do it with the safety for everyone involved. So I've been working on that a lot. Also have another album coming up at some point. So I'm in the very, 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 very early stages of
Okay.
that. Very early stages of that, of like
Mhm.
getting clear on what the sound of this project's gonna sound like and what the energy is gonna look like. Also, getting the sort of public presentation clear. I want this to be like a level up from where we've been. That's always what I want with projects. So
Mhm. Good.
that's it. That's the big stuff.
Okay. I have one last thing I gotta ask. What is the most rewarding thing about doing this for you?
I have more fun than anybody I know.
Ooh,
I
okay.
ha- I follow the fun and I am rewarded for it. And
Mm.
I mean, that's also another piece of advice. Follow the fun.
For real.
But that to me is like the biggest like
Yeah.
I I look around at people and I'm having so much fun.
Mhm.
I'm having so much fun
Right.
just being my silly goofy self
Mhm.
and doing what it is that I know I do best, and
Mhm.
that has blessed me more than anything, truly.
No, that's right. I love that too. I love that you get to have fun with what you actually are called to do. You came to this place. You didn't tie yourself down. And no shade to those that got a 9 to 5. No shade to anybody that has a 9 to 5. But when you start to walk into your purpose and you feel free to walk into your purpose, you don't have to worry about shit. Just enjoy it. It's a passion that is ignited in you, and you just want to keep going. And you thrive in it. It's like your vitality. It's give you strength. And I love, 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 love that when I see people walking in their purpose and doing the things that they love and enjoying it. And then people are gravitating to that and they want a piece of that. They want, can you show me? Can you tell me what is it you're doing? You just say, just be you, just enjoy you, just live your life, you know?
Let's
I
have a good
love that
time,
piece.
babe. Like, this world is crazy enough. Why are we not
Hello.
having a good time? I don't
Hello.
understand. I don't understand.
Exactly. I don't get it. I don't get it, but I get it. So
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Where can people find you? Where can people find you as we wrap up? How do
You
people find you?
can, yeah, find me either at Peachka or at Peachka Speaks, one or the other. Be careful for the fake accounts. If you want to work with me one on one, you can go to peachkaspeaks.com. Yeah, find me everywhere on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, whatever streaming platform you use. I am there. Peachka with 2 Ks. And that's it. You can find me
Yes.
everywhere.
Thank you so much, Peach. Y'all, by the way, y'all, my favorite song right now by Peach is Talk to Me Nice. She created it for me. I'm just gonna plug that right in there. Y'all go listen to it and play it again. Y'all will see why Ermi, that's Ermi's song. She wrote that for me, y'all. I'm gonna say it again.
Yes,
Looking right into
period.
the lens. That's for me.
I'm gonna co-sign that. I did. I did. Spirit wrote that for you.
Yes. All right, Peach. I thank you so much for joining me on this amazing episode. You guys, y'all have to leave some comments. Y'all go to Peach's website and her social media platforms and give us some love. And let them know that you heard this podcast and you just
Yeah.
it empowered you, it pushed you. I can't wait to hear what you guys say, or can't wait to see what I'm gonna be peeking too, Peach. I'm gonna be peeking and say what they
Yeah,
said.
I want to hear. I want to see what the comments are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Peach. You guys have an amazing, amazing day, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace out,
You
y'all.
babes. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Unlocking Podcast with Ermi. We hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to take on your next step. If something resonated with you, let us know in the comments. We love hearing your insights and takeaways. Your support means the world. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with friends, family, or anyone who could use a dose of inspiration and spiritual growth. Let's spread the magic far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and let us know what topics you'd love for us to explore next. Your input helps shape the journey of the Unlocking Podcast with Ermi. So until next time, keep unlocking your potential.